Trey Wave got another one.
Yes, what it do, what it do, what it do. It's your boy BDammone and Coach Gomez in the house this morning with Level Up Productions. Welcome. Good morning. And this is episode 103 of Along the Wire, the big show. And you will find out why it's the big show in just a little bit. Late night last night, long night. Gomez will tell you that I text him at 2 o'clock in the morning. In preparation, in preparation for this show, so you know it's a passion. Yeah. So you know, this is what we do in order to make sure that you get the best in San Antonio high school football information and content and news and player experience. So no gripes here. It's just what we had to do.
Yep.
As we come to you this morning. As you can see in the, I got to make sure I know exactly where it's at. In the images and videos that you see, we have got a segment playing from the Cornerstone game called Along the Wire Views. Now, this is going to be the content that I said will start popping up on the channel as we get more fixed and settled into being on YouTube. These are going to be clips and images put together by us of games that we've been to in the past. So while UC Cornerstone is the game that we just went to last week, there's going to be clips from last year and years ago that are going to pop up on the YouTube channel of San Antonio high school football talent and some talent from across the state as I covered recruiting for Horns 24/7 previously. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel and get your fix on some highlights and some views and some clips that you will not see anywhere else than on the San Antonio High School Football Along the Wire YouTube channel. Let's get into offers. Offers are gonna be 5 as they're switching things up right now. We'll do 5 offers, and then if there's like an excess amount, because there's been episodes in the past where it's been like 12, 15 offers. You know, when you got Lucas Coley getting 34 offers and he gets like 8 in a week, it's kind of hard to just be like, you know, it takes up all the time. So on the sports ticker, if we have more than 5 offers in a week, you will see it on the sports ticker. But let's jump into it.
Let's go.
All right. We have gotten you'll see them on the sides as well in the display. So in no particular order, we got another UTSA offer to a Judson Rocket, this time linebacker Traylon Payne.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts on Traylon?
Traylon has great size, great speed, real athletic. We actually got to cover him out there at a combine over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see the way he moved, real good movement. I think that'll be a great addition to UTSA if they're able to land him.
Awesome. Also, we've got one of the Along the Wire's top 10 athletes who got 2 offers this past week, and I'd say this is a sleeper, just because I don't have him as a top 10 receiver. But he just has some freakish ability, and just the length and size of him at receiver. We got Mr. Davion Wilson from Judson with 2 offers, one being from Incarnate Word and the other being from Northern Carolina. Yeah, Northern Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Northern Colorado, excuse me.
University of Northern Colorado.
Excuse me. So 2 offers this week, and I love to see it because that's a name that I think is gonna keep popping up.
Yeah.
Maybe not consistently, but schools who definitely have a need for a position and want to have a freak athlete, you know, once he puts everything together that it takes to be a complete football player, and I think he's on that path, he could blow up.
Yeah, he could potentially blow up, no doubt. I think what happens in a situation like this due to COVID is that we didn't get to attend all those camps during the summer.
Right.
You know, where it would have probably opened up some other eyes. So I think with him, I think throughout the season he may get some other big offers coming along.
Yeah, definitely.
No doubt.
Another offer from going to San Antonio, of course. Lineman Joshua Green from Brandeis received a scholarship offer from UT Permian Basin. So congratulations to him on that. I like Josh's game. It's a bit underrated. I think sometimes I don't want to say the school you go to, but I mean names can overpower or suck up what happens in a school. So I'm glad that he's getting the look, and I'm glad that he got the offer from UT Permian Basin, and I know he's going to have more coming up. So shout out to you, Josh, for that offer. And last but not least, from University of Mary Hardin Baylor, we had an offer go out to Nathan
Masagumba.
Gumba, not Gimba, right?
Exactly. And the only reason I know that is because I worked with, I believe it's his uncle for a couple years. So
Okay.
I actually learned that last night.
See, Moxon Gumba, not Gimba, Gumba. And that's a Smithson Valley offensive lineman. So congratulations on that offer, man. So we got Traylon Payne, Darian Wilson, Joshua Green, and Nathan Moxon Gumba. Congratulations from Along the Wire on getting your offers. As you can see, they're posted in the graphics next to us. Also, we got a major announcement for commitments this past week as well. Not one, but two players from Judson committed to the University of Texas at San Antonio. That being Kamron Scott and Robert Rigsby, both offensive linemen. If you followed Kamron Scott's recruitment, he was committed, then decommitted, got some huge offers, and now is recommitted. And in the recruiting world, that's huge in itself.
Yep. Getting
A commit back that was committed and then decommits, it's just either the school has to do something to.
They did. They went in and got Robert Rigsby.
Exactly. So
you know what? We're have the what do they call it? A battle buddy program.
Exactly.
So they want to go to battle together in the trenches. Let's make it happen.
And that's a steal. That's a
Yeah.
steal.
2
If
for 1.
I can get you and another offensive lineman, and y'all like playing together, and y'all will play together, and y'all will
So
do your.
They're gonna go 8 years together. They already played 4.
Right,
They're gonna
right.
play another 4 year together. Oh man.
Yeah. So that communication and that the familiarity of playing together is going to make that just a more cohesive side of the line.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep. Especially when they end up on the side.
Exactly. So congratulations on that. And that ends this segment as we're about to get into the show. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe to the Along the Wire YouTube channel and catch up with BDammone and Coach Gomez. Like, subscribe, share, get the notifications every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. You will be getting a new episode of Along the Wire with the latest and greatest on the San Antonio high school football scene. And it's going to be going down, so you're going to want to stay tuned to this episode because we got some big stuff and we got some announcements to make, and we got some coverage of Marion and Comfort that we're going to talk about. That's why we were up till 2 o'clock in the morning. So stay tuned, and we will be right back. What it do? We are back, and this is a first for Along the Wire with BDammone and Coach Gomez as we are kicking off the YouTube channel for the San Antonio high school football player. As we always talk about, it's not just about football, it's about an education as well. And our first interview, we have been blessed with two of the biggest offensive linemen in the city and two of the best offensive linemen in the city, both hailing from Judson, and both made a commitment to UTSA. So congratulations first. And we got Kamron Scott and Robert Rigsby on the show, guys. What's going on this morning, fellas?
Nothing much. Chilling.
Appreciate your time, man. Thank you for being with us. And we know it's early, so hats off to y'all for making it on time and actually hitting us up before. So, I mean, that definitely lets you know that y'all are on point with it. So, your word is bond. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. No problem.
All right. So, let's. Oh, yeah. No problem, man. So, let's get this kicked off. First off, you both committed to UTSA. How do you feel about making that commitment and being at that university for the next 4 years? And how do you feel about their push in recruiting kids from the San Antonio area and making that a staple of their talent base?
I mean, I feel like, we have to start here in San Antonio to get everything, on board with the local schools and all that, to start building something, in San Antonio, to stay in San Antonio. So it's kind of a no-brainer, when they offered Robert, it was, a no-brainer for me and him both to go, especially, as close as we are with each other and everything. So, we want to spend the next 4 years in San Antonio with each other, to try to win something bigger in the state championship one day.
Yeah, I've always thought that San Antonio has been underrated. And the fact that we had UTSA right here and they started recruiting more schools around here, I was like, yeah, it's pretty much a no-brainer just to go there, play with some of the guys that I grew up playing against. And so we have the chance to do that here now.
So with y'all being there, who are y'all turning to try to get there with you guys? Who are some of the targets that y'all are talking to within the city?
Our defensive tackle, Nate Pryor, trying to get D'Anthony on board, Moody, and that's about it for right now.
Does it play a huge role knowing that you have a lot of Rockets currently on the roster? Or I wouldn't say a whole lot, but they're starting to build more towards, like we talked about earlier, recruiting in the city. But having Xavier Spencer on there, having Rashad Wisdom, some of the guys that y'all are familiar with, did that play a big role?
Yes, sir, it did.
Especially with them being leaders to us when we were young.
You hit it right on the head with them being leaders. So that you trust that if they tell you, man, we're happy here, they're building this in the right direction. Since Coach Traylor's got here, the program's turned around. So they sold you on that?
Pretty much.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Good stuff. So going to college, of course, is going to be a question that you're asked. Have y'all already thought about a major? I remember Kamron, if I'm incorrect, correct me, but I think you were thinking about business, right?
You're correct.
So what are some of the majors that y'all are thinking about?
For me, pretty much just real estate and all that. That's about it.
And then I've been thinking about kinesiology and psychology some.
Awesome.
Nice.
Are you trying to be a coach eventually? Robert?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man.
All right, so this coming up season, guys, y'all got Wagner back in district, and y'all have the addition of South San in district. Who were some teams or the team that you're looking forward to smashing in the trenches, or the game that you're looking most forward to?
Probably Steele and Clemens for sure.
Yeah, for me, at least non-district wise, it'll have to be DeSoto week 1. We're going up there, and it's just a big test for our line and our team to play them. They're a great team and a great program. But besides them, I just want to get that payback on Clemens from last year.
I was actually about to say that next. I was gonna say that to Cam and say, hey, is that some get back? So yeah, definitely. DeSoto is a big game. DeSoto is a very good game. I like how those programs' histories coincide together.
Yeah.
Shoot, maybe Errol Spence will be at the game.
I don't want to get too much into depth with y'all's game planning, but based off of some of the game planning y'all have done going into DeSoto, how do you feel y'all are going to match up front in the trenches?
Our coach does a great job of trying to plan what's best or what we could do best against them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel we'll have a pretty good shot at it, especially with DeAnthony coming back for his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like blocking for DeAnthony?
It's kind of fun, to be honest with you, because you never know where he's going to go.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes your job a little easier because he's a quick scat back.
Yeah, and it's just like he'll just like always like bring you up to if you mess up, he's like, come on, let's go. Like he's just always there for you.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So if you fellas had a choice between the Under Armour game and the U.S. All-American game, which game are you choosing and why?
Me personally, I choose the Under Armour All-American game, mainly just because of the stuff they wear. To me, to be honest with you, I don't really care about playing the game. I just want the gear. That's about it. So yeah, I'd rather play in that game than any other game, to be honest with you.
I'd probably have to choose the U.S. Army one because my dad's retired military, and so just how they honor the troops there and just him being retired, it means a lot to me.
Awesome. Not to mention it would be in your hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up, you guys are all out as a team. Say you're at
say something. Buffalo Wild Wings has something going
yeah,
on there.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Plug. And there's a challenge for a karaoke song. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Look at Cam. He's over there already hiding.
Shoot, probably Tennessee whiskey.
Oh, what? I like
go.
that. I like that.
How about yourself, Robert?
I mean, it really doesn't matter to me. I know a lot of songs, so you can ask him. Like, I'll just bust out and start singing random songs at times.
So you're always practicing, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
So, one more thing before thank you again for your time, guys. I actually, my first time seeing both of you was 2 years ago. Y'all were both sophomores, and I was covering DeMarvin Leal and Jalen Jones in the game that Judson ended up stomping still. And I'm walking out on the field, and I see Kamron and Robert just standing like in the middle of the field. I'm not sure what they were doing or if like they were just first for the drills or something like that. And I talked to Coach Q, and I was like, who the hell are those guys? Like a couple of sophomores. I was like, what? Like, and they were both huge. And I was like, okay, Judson's gonna be all right. Judson, and my first thought was college. I'm like, man, these kids got some size, because that was my first Judson game in a while since my cousin was there.
And you left not remembering the score. You're remembering these two guys.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I know Judson won the game easily, but
it made an impression on you.
Exactly. I was
sure.
like, man, I got to come back, and I've been going to more Judson games ever since.
Awesome.
So y'all didn't know that, but before I even saw Leal or Jones out there on the field, I'm like, who are these two cats? So yeah, so y'all have already had an impact on me before y'all even knew it. But are there any words that y'all want to say before we let y'all go? We know it's early, so we want to make sure y'all get y'all's breakfast.
Rob, you got anything you want to say?
Just thank you for having us, and we look forward to talking to y'all again.
Awesome,
Yes,
awesome,
we appreciate it.
No problem, man. Of course, this is Along the Wire, the show for the San Antonio High School football player. We thank you for your time. Hey, can y'all give us your Twitter handle so that people can follow you?
Yeah, mine's on Cam Scott 65.
And then mine's just Robert M. Rigsby.
All right, guys. This has been Judson Rocket time. Like
Yeah.
this is a time, and obviously UTSA understands that there is some talent here in the 210, and they're looking for it, and they hit the best school in San Antonio for it. So appreciate your time once again, fellas. Me and Coach Gomez, thank you, and y'all have a very good weekend.
Yes,
You
sir.
too.
You too.
All right, God bless.
You too.
That was Robert Rigsby and Kamron Scott, Judson offensive linemen, who both committed to UTSA, and Coach Traylor. Interesting and good to hear that the players who are there were the ones who were able to get them over the top.
Yeah, and what he mentioned was, hey, they were leaders for us before. So them being comfortable with those leaders, like I asked him, did that play a huge role? He said, yeah. So going into a place feeling comfortable, man, what more do you want? You know what I mean? Not to mention you're going to play in front of your mom, your dad, family and friends. I think that for them both, that was a good move. And you can tell just by the way they were talking with each other during right now this interview that they're real good friends. And I bet you them playing together played another factor with it.
Exactly.
That was a second check.
Exactly. And kudos to the UTSA staff, because trust, players talk.
Yeah.
And if something ain't right, then as good as friends as we see that they are, they're not going to let somebody else come in that environment.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the things in Kamron Scott's recruitment that, we didn't talk about there, but he was actually committed and then decommitted and had some big-time offers. So you have to realize that for UTSA to win a battle like that over in Ole Miss and other schools, that tells you something about what's going on in the locker room. So it's good to see UTSA win a battle like that, and to get Kamron Scott and to get Robert Rigsby. Those are some great guys to run behind.
Yeah, they're really taking that serious right now as far as UTSA building that brand that they keep saying. We're building a brand.
Embrace
the brand. Embrace. And
yeah,
I think the city's starting to see that. The players in the city are starting to see that. Even the communities, as far as fans, everybody's starting to see that. So we'll see how UTSA plays today.
All right. That has been this segment of our first player interviews. Judson Rockets, once again, thank you to Robert Rigsby and Kamron Scott. We will be right back. What it do? We are back for this segment, and we are going to be doing a game recap. Last night, we were in Marion, Texas, covering the Marion Bulldogs versus the Comfort Bobcats. Did you notice that they had Bobcats and deer?
Did they?
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice.
Like if you look up their high school, it says Bobcat/deer.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And now I was like, what? Because originally I had sworn that I had heard that they were the deer, but when I saw their shirts and they said the Bobcats on the back, I was like, So, but if you look up their high school, it says Comfort Bobcat/deer.
Interesting.
That's different.
I wonder what the story's behind that.
Yeah, that might be something for us to come back to and check out. But last night we were at the game.
Yep.
I got there a little bit earlier than you did. At the start, seeing them warm up, pretty even in the look and feel. And then that's where it ended. I mean, it was 2-0 teams. You had Marion coming in off of some nail-biting games, and you had Comfort coming in off of some blowout wins. So speaking to the coaches before the game, that was one of the angles that I was saying, hey, I wonder what's going to break.
Yeah.
And honestly, going through the first half, I could see how those games for Marion were close. And then in the second half, it was like a tale of two stories.
Well, I saw it as soon as I walked up. I got there, I believe, in the middle of the second quarter.
Right.
As I was walking up, first thing I noticed was the way Comfort was coming out of that huddle. Mm-hmm. It was like a machine, man. They'd run to the line, and they would give the defense no time to adjust or call, where the strong side was at. Right. It was more like Get out of the huddle, get to the line, snap. Get out of the huddle, get to the line, snap. And it was very consistent.
Yeah.
And none of the guys were loafing.
Yeah.
Everybody, and I don't know if you remember me telling you, I said, Brandon, I was like, we'll see if this team's really going to have that same speed in the second half and see if they're really conditioned. We'll see what they're about. And then come mid-third quarter, fourth quarter, it was the same intensity, same speed, same momentum.
Yeah.
And it was just smash-mouth football. They weren't really big. They had a couple of guys that were big, but overall it was just more that they wanted to play harder. They wanted to play tough. And that was what Lucas Pettis had said during the interview. He said, Coach told us that we wanted to come out here and set the tone early, which they did. And once they set the tone and they were just beating up on these guys, they started having fun with it after a while.
Yeah, exactly.
They were having fun.
Exactly. So, as Coach Gomez is saying, Lucas Pettis was the player of the game.
Yep.
And we got an interview with him afterwards. As you can see on the screen right now, we have some highlights of the Along the Wire views from the game last night. So you'll be able to see who he is, and he got to wear the Along the Wire chain. It was good to see the team get excited for that. It was some smash mouth football.
Yes.
You could see how, like you said, it was a machine, and that machine didn't wear down. And I think what also kept them energized was that they started seeing the effects and a little bit of timidness in Marion, and that can fuel you even if you're getting a little bit tired.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I got him.
Yeah, and I think the turning point, too, was when they're on that kickoff. Special teams, man. You know,
yes.
That kickoff, Marion had a chance to catch that ball. He could have went underneath it and fair caught it, or he could have caught it on a bounce if he wanted to, or even caught it in the air and took off. But he kind of second-guessed himself.
Yeah.
Ended up
froze.
He froze, got hit, comforting and recovering the ball, and capitalized off of that.
Got nailed.
Yes.
And that's what happens. That's what can happen if you aren't secure in what you're going to do in the game of football.
Yeah.
The second you get to thinking, it's over. It's over.
But I think the most impressive thing overall was really hats off to the coaching staff for Comfort. They were rotating the defensive linemen, fresh legs.
Right.
They had a set of 5 guys that they were playing the first half, and then I called it out to you during that beginning of the fourth quarter is when they came in with some of the big dogs.
Right.
To, I guess, kind of closers. Let's close this out.
Exactly.
Let's control the line of scrimmage.
And that was a subtle but not so subtle switch that you noticed.
Yeah.
Because they weren't in there on the previous drives.
No.
And then you saw 10 and 72, Lucas being 72, going in and
at nose guard.
Yeah.
And man, when he went in there, man, he was controlling both A gaps. And that boy, all game long, he would play till the whistle was blown.
Yes.
He played till the whistle was blown.
He finished people 15, 20 yards in the end zone when he blocked that guy all the way from the 15 to the back of the end zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
He and then whenever the whistle would blow, he would just get his hands off and do this and walk away.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was like, okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, and there's certain things like we've said and like you said, you can't coach certain things.
No.
You can't coach size and you can't coach being a dog.
Yeah.
You either got it or you don't. And that's at one point when the Bobcats turned into Bulldogs. You know,
yeah.
In a sense. And Marion, as far as I think they have some athletes. I think the direction of the team there's some strengths that have to be exercised or refined because they have some size at key positions. But like you said, the difference in the offensive and defensive lines getting out there, you saw a lot of standing around with Marion.
Yeah.
You saw that they had some good-looking players, but if that energy, if that fight's not there, and I'm not sure if it got taken out, but that was apparent from the jump with Comfort was that they had their system going. As you see on these highlights, when they were warming up, their a unit. They're a group, and that's how they had a touchdown run in front of us in which 7 guys picked up blocks, and the running back just ran straight through.
No one was ever standing around.
And I said that was picture perfect.
Yep.
Like, everybody was picked up.
Yep.
Everybody was picked up.
Yep.
So that was incredible to see. And that's one thing I'm wondering if I'm going to start seeing that and paying more attention to schools that have systems and know how they're running it and not worried about what the other team's doing. We know what we can do, as opposed to how you said last night. It's not going up to the line, standing there, and you have time to think, and then you can be like, okay, oh man, this dude's huge in front of me. Like, no. I don't even think they made eye contact with the defensive line.
No, they would. And like you were mentioning earlier, I think it starts off with the coach, because we stood on the Marion sideline for the first half,
right,
and then we stood on the Comfort sideline on the second half,
right.
And I feel that the Comfort's team was a reflection of the coach,
right.
That coach was on them,
right.
But at the same time, just as much as he would jump their case, he would praise them,
right.
He would get after them, but then when they come to the sideline, he'd give them a hug,
yeah,
hey, good job,
yeah,
hard work, all this other stuff. So it's hats off to that coach, man.
Yeah.
You could tell that he's real tough on them, but they respect it.
Exactly.
Because if they didn't respect it,
Exactly.
these guys, they probably go through a brick wall for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they
and they didn't have as many players either.
Nope. They did not.
They didn't have as many players either.
And they didn't have the size. I think Marion had a little more size,
yes,
to be honest.
Yes, because when their 3 linemen started walking towards us and we're looking down at them,
yeah.
like, okay.
But like we said, it's just a system.
Yeah.
They were running the wing tee.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what they had to do. The most impressive thing is when you have your running backs going and taking out big defensive ends and defensive ends limping. Because they got
more
chopped.
than one occasion.
More than one occasion.
More than one occasion.
And Chris Rodriguez did a hell of a job of running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That kid just, put his head down and kept pumping his legs. I think he ended up with 270 yards on 28 carries.
And for being undersized, they came away with a few interceptions. And not to make it seem so one-sided, even though the final score was 37-14, Marion didn't end up scoring until the second half. It was just, you saw a team get outcoached, outplayed in every facet of the game, from special teams to defense. I think they had 6 sacks overall. On Marion, they had interceptions. They had they had a couple touchdowns called back.
They basically won at all phases of the game.
Yeah.
They won on special teams. They won on offense. They won on defense. And it was just because those kids were playing hard. Mm-hmm. They wanted it more. They were more disciplined. And like I said, once they started rolling, you could tell they were having fun.
Yeah.
And once you have fun,
and one of the things, of course, people don't want to mention that, I'll say it, is when you're going to these small towns, sometimes you got to play the officials too.
True.
So, I mean, there was a huge discrepancy in calls made. For whatever reason, but to win in spite of
that kickoff return, we replayed it. I don't know how many times. There was no flag. We didn't see a flag.
Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is in certain instances. But they still went out there and proved.
Oh, once again, it goes to the coach. It is what it is. The coach he bickered about it a little bit. But, hey, he's like, you know what, we'll do it again.
Right.
And 3 plays later, they go and get a 66-yard touchdown down the side.
Exactly.
So it's like,
exactly.
We're going to show you.
When it started at 1st and 20.
Yeah.
It was 1st and 20, and they scored a touchdown. So, it just happens. We also want to shout out Jaden Williams. He is one of our along the wire top 20 players, and he was out there for the Marion Bulldogs. Really didn't have a major impact on the game after the first couple of drives. And that's something that I wonder about, because you got to get your best players the ball, and he was split out furthest away from the ball all night. So I wonder about that. I wonder if there's any type of I kept saying a jet sweep or something to get him moving, because he's a huge kid. If you can get his body in front of the quarterback going across the field like you called a route, but they kept running it for somebody else.
Yeah. And what it is at the end of the day, it's a team sport, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have, we know Jaden's a great athlete. We've seen him work. But if you can't get the ball in his hands
you got to have other options.
You got to have other options. And there wasn't.
Because everybody knows he's an option.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Everybody knows he's an option. So let's talk a little bit about, we'll close that out. Congratulations, Comfort is now 3-0, and they move on to play Uvalde. And next week, Marion goes on to play Hondo.
Hold on, one last thing. I want to give shouts out to Cody, Luke, and Tucker. Y'all did a hell of a job on that defensive line last night.
Cody, Luke, and Tucker. Yeah, so great game. Shout out to the fans at Marion. The social distancing was perfect.
True.
I like how
shout out to the whole stadium.
Yeah, shout out to the whole stadium.
They had everybody wore masks the whole time. Everybody had the social distancing. It was great. Yeah,
it was good. So to hit on some of the other games, as you see on the sports ticker, all the scores going across, we want to give props to Bernie, who was in another undefeated battle with Burnett and ended up winning 30-7. And they have along the wire top 10 quarterback Rashawn Galloway on that team. Now with that win and his performances, he's up to six touchdowns passing, 4 touchdowns rushing, almost 200 yards rushing, and over 600 yards passing on the season. And Bernie's winning.
Bernie's rolling.
Yeah, Bernie is rolling. They are 3-0. So congrats to the Greyhounds. Did you have a game that you wanted to?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So thank you for watching this segment. I hope you enjoyed the highlights that are going right now, and we will be right back and have some big, important conversation coming up. So stay tuned. What it do? We are back. It's BDammone and Coach Gomez. This is episode 103 of Along the Wire, the big show. And so we're just coming off of talking about the Marion and Comfort game, and we thank you for catching that interview with Kamron Scott and Robert Rigsby, couple of great kids from San Antonio, Texas. And we are going to be talking about another kid from San Antonio, Texas right now who, if you live in San Antonio and you follow high school football, then you've heard his name. And you've heard his name for some reasons other than playing football. As Jordan Battles attempted to transfer from Brandeis to Judson, and that was revoked from the UIL and Judson's district. That'll lead to a topic that we'll talk about at another date. But he has found a football home in a school that his family is very well known and welcome to be at, in Holy Cross High School in San Antonio, Texas. Jordan Battles, being the former starting quarterback who took his team to the quarterfinals the last 2 years for Brandeis, is now at Holy Cross.
Yep.
So this is not a small addition to a school. This is something that's different. This is something that is big. I think that it can't be undersold. I had him as the number 2 player in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So for the number 2 player of San Antonio to go, and if you want to speak on the differences, if you have somebody who's at 6A and no takeaway from the level that he's going to be playing at now, there is a difference. He could end up doing some pretty special things stats-wise, just perceived off of that change in competition level.
Oh, no doubt. He gonna bring, his speed. Gonna bring, not to mention, he has a lot of experience against some tough teams.
Right.
And I don't think he's gonna face the same competitiveness like you mentioned.
Right.
So I think that right there is already
yeah.
What would I say? Asset.
Yes.
Another tool in his bag. I said, but yeah. A couple of weeks ago, Holy Cross wasn't dominant.
Right.
Now with the addition of Jordan Battles, now they're talking state. State
So,
championship.
so speaking of that, in effect, if you want, I made the comparison and I called you, and just because I'll call people if I think I'm tripping because I don't want to just say something. But Cuero a few years ago had Jordan Whittington, a 5-star at the 4A level, which in some people's eyes is crazy, having a 5-star. But when you see what that 5-star player did, 6 touchdowns in the state championship game, was obviously the focal point of the offense for that team. But like we spoke on in the Comfort versus Marion game, you can have one weapon, but if you don't know how to get that person the ball or have other pieces to be threats as well, then it doesn't matter if you have that player or not.
But in this situation, like how you were talking about, you brought up the Marion game, Jalen Williams doesn't have the ball in his hand.
Right.
From the jump.
Right.
Jordan battles Will.
Yes.
As soon as that ball snapped, it's already in the best player's hands.
Right.
So he could either run, he could either roll out and pass. So it just makes it different. Now, if Jordan was a receiver and you had a different, like a quarterback, it would water it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, you're gonna get as potent as possible. You know what I mean?
And not to be understated, he's also going to be playing on defense.
Yep.
So, what do you think is the impact of him being on that defense as well? Are they, because this will be our first time actually seeing him play.
Well, being around Jordan during the 7-on-7 circuit, and of course, I've known the Battles family since, our boys played basketball together when we were younger, 7 years old, 6 years old. I've known Sean a while as well. Jordan's a dog. He's a dog, man. So on that defensive side of the ball, he's going to bring attitude. He's going to bring that chip on your shoulder. He has a real high football IQ, so I see him out there putting people in position to be successful whenever the coaches can't be there as well.
Right.
So, that kid, he's grown around football. As he mentioned on that interview, man, he was Holy Cross's ball boy. He played Pop Warner at Holy Cross. His dad went to Holy Cross. His sisters went to Holy Cross.
Shout out Coach Harrison.
Yep. So, he's just going to bring a different competitiveness to that team. And then once all the team buys into it, it's over.
Yeah. And I definitely believe he's not going to let anybody slack.
No, because there's a lot to prove.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like we spoke earlier, it's a team sport. So you're only as weak as your weakest link. Right. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because in the interview, was it Ken's 5? I want to make sure I give the correct station out. But he said he's all about business, and I was like, nickname Jordan Business Battles is what I'm going with for this year. I think that he has a very great opportunity, and if you're a Holy Cross fan or if you're just a football fan and you want to see something special, I think you need to go catch Holy Cross games because it's not often that you get a chance to see a player have an opportunity at showcasing skills on both sides of the ball and be at the level of player that he is. And this will be, probably one of his greatest leading opportunities, period.
Not to mention, it's going to be good for Holy Cross in general as a community, to have a kid like Jordan come, bring the alumni back out, start bringing all the old Holy Cross fans back out to the games.
Right.
It's good for the school.
Yes.
It's good for the school. So he's not only doing something for that football team, but he's also going to be doing something for that community.
The entire community.
Yep.
The entire community. So, last thought and question on Jordan Battles. It's been all pluses, and we're eager to see what he looks like out there with Holy Cross. Your Coach Harrison, play this role. Your Coach Harrison, what is it that you do with a Jordan Battles on the field?
What I would do is I would probably start him off on offense and defense the first quarter, quarterback and safety. Give him a little break on the second quarter. Third quarter, depending on where we're at, will let me know if I'm going to let him go to either quarterback or safety. But always for sure quarterback. Fourth quarter, no doubt in my mind he's finishing for me at safety and at quarterback. So I would like for him to play both sides of the ball, but at the same time kind of manage him, in between.
Situational.
And it's not to manage him because his conditioning or any of that. It's to manage him so he doesn't get hurt.
Exactly.
Jordan's a tough kid. We both know that he's played with some injuries and stuff like that. He's a tough kid overall. But there's always, that in the back of your mind, that freak accident or whatever. Yeah. But all I would do is just manage his reps. Do give him offensive side of the ball playing time. But like I said, I would do like a first and fourth quarter thing. And then, of course, if I'm down, I may start him in the third quarter. But always my starting quarterback.
Okay. Definitely can't argue with that because you want to make sure that he lasts the game and the season. And we will be looking forward to their first game their first scrimmage is next week on the 18th versus Sacs, and then their first game is the 25th. So as all schools are getting back now, the 5A and 6A level getting back to their scrimmages, and then their season start up on the 25th and on October 2nd. So as things are getting back into the swing, Jordan Battles has got a home, and it's at Holy Cross. And we look forward to seeing him do some amazing things. And like you said, people are saying state now.
Yeah.
So
I think he can do it. I mean, look at the impact he had last year in the playoffs against, was it Johnson?
Johnson.
They were down by how many touchdowns?
Johnson and Vega. They were down by 2 on Johnson.
They were down. Dude comes in, game changer.
6A,
game changer. So now you're bringing that game changer to Taps.
Right.
It's gonna be,
and
there's gonna be some numbers thrown up.
Right. And when we say that, it's no knock on the level that he's going to, because schools are schools.
True.
I mean, private schools to public schools to the amount of pool of talent that you have to pull from, it just is what it is. So now he's in that pool of talent, and he's probably the best player in the state in that
in that vision, yeah, for sure. All I know is I know Coach Harrison's gonna throw the kitchen sink at you with Jordan, especially with Jordan. Now having a weapon like Jordan, I mean, he probably already had an idea of who he had going into the season with, and then all of a sudden you get this
right,
stud coming in.
Right.
I mean, he could probably play him at receiver. He can play him at running back if he wanted to, punt and return, wherever he wants.
Right.
And I wouldn't put it past Coach Harrison, because that guy, I mean, whenever he plays, he uses everything. Man.
Yeah, he doesn't leave anything.
Yeah. He'll throw it at you, bro.
He empties the entire clip.
Yeah.
So
I mean he'll move guys from a defensive end to a freaking fullback if he needs.
So he's not scared to try something.
He's not scared at all, man. He's not.
Shout out to coaches not scared to try.
Yeah,
Shout out to coaches not.
And a lot of the success is because of that. I mean, he's unorthodox, man. He's not your normal coach. Just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna." He exploits.
Right. All right. So that has been our segment on Mr. Jordan Battles going to Holy Cross. Congratulations to you, and congratulations, Holy Cross, Coach Harrison. We look forward to seeing your season and just how far it goes. You've got a beast, and you got a coach who's not scared to use the beast. So I think it's going to be a great marriage, and I can't wait to watch it. Stay tuned with Along the Wire on YouTube, and we'll be right back. What it do? It's BDammone and Coach Gomez, and we are back. We thank you so much for watching this episode 103, the big show of the new Along the Wire on YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We're going to close out today. We just want to make sure that we hit on a couple of things before we let you go. Make sure you like, subscribe, and send everybody that you know this link on this show. We want to get our subscribers up, and we want to get our views up, and we want to make sure that the talent is seen here in San Antonio, Texas for high school football. We want to make sure you take notice that all football is starting back up. We got the 5A and 6A schools starting back to practices, scrimmages, and their seasons are going to kick off. Be the reason that the season continues and not the reason that it stops when you attend these games. Make sure you are adhering to every COVID policy there is. There's no time for ignorance. No time for ignorance. And shout out once again to the fans, the entire stadium at Marion last night. That was picture perfect. Picture perfect. And even the coaching staffs wanted to make sure that we could get the interviews with the players, just in case some of you trolls out there were like, oh, the player didn't have the mask on. Well, me and Coach Gomez did.
Yeah.
So, and he asked before we did the interview, do you mind if I take this off?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, boom. It's fine. Shout out Lucas. UTSA starts today, and they kick off versus Texas State.
Yep.
I predict 24-20.
Okay.
UTSA. It's going to be Coach Traylor's first game as head coach. I think they're going up against a squad. I know I've done this research, so you don't have to add anything on here. They're going up against a squad that gave up almost 600 yards in offense in Texas State versus SMU last week. I think they're going to take advantage of some stuff that they saw on the film. And they got Sincere coming out the backfield off of giving up over 150 yards rushing to SMU, and you got the number one running back in the state of Texas at the college level at UTSA.
There's a lot to show today. I'll
Right.
tell you that. You got Coach Traylor that building a new brand.
You got Coach Nix
You got
putting in
Coach-
that defense.
You got Coach Nick with the new defense. I mean, there's a lot said on this first game today. Everybody wants to see what UTSA is going to be about.
And it's versus UTSA's little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas State.
He said little brother. No, but it's going to be interesting, and I know UTSA will come out on top, man. There's a lot riding on this game.
So with UTSA, congratulations on your season starting. And they had no positive COVID test all week.
Awesome.
So they're going to be fully loaded. UT is taking on UTEP up in Austin. So make sure you watch. All right, the UTSA game's at 2:30. The Texas game's at 7:30. UT is a 43-point favorite. So
Jay Winnington, baby. Jay Winnington.
yeah, Jordan Whittington, Marquise Caldwell. Who else? I want to see all the dogs ball out.
Tonight I'm calling it. Jordan Winnington will have 3 touchdowns.
Jordan Whittington with 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
Okay, let me make a wild prediction. I'm gonna say Keontae Ingram and Bijan Robinson both have over 100 yards rushing.
Okay.
I was about to go crazy and say Roschon Johnson as well. So I don't know. But I think at least I'll say 2 of the 3 running backs for UT will go over 100 yards rushing. So, but a 43-point spread, can they cover it? We'll see. We'll see what Khalil and Dresden, because
Yeah.
I saw Khalil's at receiver.
Is he?
Yeah. So let's see. There's some San Antonio kids there too. You got Derek Kerstetter from Reagan
Yeah.
over at Texas, and you got Logan Parr from O'Connor at Texas as well,
And Caden Stearns.
and Caden Stearns from Steele. So there's a lot of San Antonio in that UT and that UTEP game. So make sure y'all pay attention to that. Let's see. Before we close out, anything else I can think of? Support your local teams. If you can go out to a game, make it out to a game. Adhere to the COVID policies. If not, catch it on the live stream. Go to your high school's YouTube channel or go to the district channel and see if there's a live stream of your neighborhood school or of your home school, whichever school that you support. Anything you want to add to it?
No, sir. No, sir.
Everybody be safe. Have a great weekend, and thank you for tuning in to the Along the Wire San Antonio High School football channel. This has been BDammone and Coach Gomez. Hook 'em. Birds up. 210.
We out.
We're out.